Okay. All right, now we're starting our meeting for August 12th, 2026. Okay. First thing on our preliminary business is Mount Diablo Unified School District records and broadcasts the Board of Education meetings at the direction of the board. The recording of the broadcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. And then we have our land acknowledgement. We recognize that the Mount Diablo Unified School District sits on the territory of the Confederated Villages of Lashawn, the ancestral and unceded land of the Bamiwak and the Northern Yorka. The successors and sovereign Barone band of Contra Costa County, as members of the Mount Diablo Unified Community, it is vitally important that we not only recognize the history of the land on which we learn, but also we recognize that the land we inhabit and learn on is the ancestral land of these people who are alive and flourishing members of the Mount Diablo Unified School District and broader Bay Area community today. Please join me in the pledge to the flag. And now we have the review and potential approval of the minutes for the regular board meeting held on June 24th, 2026.
Madam President, I move that the board approve the minutes for regular board meeting held 2026.
Second.
We have a motion by trustee Lawrence, a second by trustee McDougal.
Oops, sorry. My computer's still, I'm not connected, just so we know. It's still doing its thing, but I'm gonna be the one to hold it up. Applying group policy, environment policy.
Okay, so trustee, we have to wait until trustee Soto's sworn in, right? Okay, so trustee McDougal? We're voting. Vote. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Lawrence?
Yes.
Trustee Ndewi?
Yes.
Trustee Mayo?
Yes.
And trustee Mason is yes as well. Okay. Is it working when I talk into it? There you go. Okay, thank you. Now we have review and potential approval of the agenda.
Madam President, I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have motion by trustee Lawrence, second by trustee Mayo. Are we continuing with voice vote? Okay, so trustee McDougal,
Yes.
trustee Lawrence,
Yes.
trustee Nzewi?
Yes.
Trustee Mayo?
Yes.
Trustee Mason is yes as well. Okay.
No, not yet until we swear him in.
Next item on the agenda, oath of office of the student board member,
Aye.
Dr. Clark.
Perfect segue.
Oh, my God. So, raise your right hand, repeat after me. This is for the office of Mount Diablo Student Board Member. So Armando Soto,
I, Armando Soto,
do solemnly swear that I will support
I do solemnly swear that I will support
and defend the Constitution of the United States
and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
discharge the duties of which I am about to enter.
Congratulations. When you're gonna put it on, you put them on and put a magnet there.
Awesome.
But we would love to have you just give a few words to your colleagues here, and then we'll get down to business, all right?
Alrighty, well, thank you guys. I'm very excited to work with you guys this year to help build our community at the schools all around this district. I was told by one of my teachers that I'm representing more than 30,000 students, which was a shock. It was like, wow, it really showed me how much this means. I'm glad to be working with you guys and excited to see how this year goes.
Anybody you want to thank?
Oh,
We're gonna come up here and take a picture.
can I thank my mom? Can I thank my mom and all my counselors and my aunt, everybody here for me? Thank you guys. It means a lot.
Squeeze in.
Do you all want to come up too for the picture? Yeah. Yeah.
More family?
Oh. Oh. Welcome to the family. Come on.
Great. She's good.
I'm back.
She's back.
Okay, that was a good segue there. All right, so next on our agenda is the report out from closed session. We had a hearing of an appeal of a decision in a complaint against an employee per Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 4030, non-discrimination in employment. Following a hearing pursuant to the Board Policy and Administrative Regulations of 4030, the board, by a vote of 5-0, decided to uphold the designee's decision in a complaint against an employee. And that takes us to public comment. Do we have public comment tonight? Angel? It's on. Mhm.
Good evening, Board President Ms. Mason, Superintendent Mr. Clark. So good to be here with all of you guys. Happy new school year. And I just wanted to, say a couple of things, say a couple of exciting and ideas and concerns I want to share with all of you tonight. I know I don't have a lot of time, but I'll just break it down. But overall, I just want to, say that it's been almost 2 months since the last meeting in June, but I just wanted to come forward to share my, gratitude and all of the, all of the exciting things that are happening in our school district right now. Basically, with our special ed students, I just want to wish our special ed students that are coming into our school district for the first time, and some of them who are returning. I just wanted to share some ideas and some opinions with all of you. To start off, I am thinking of starting an alumni social support group for our special ed community. And if any of you guys have any opinions or suggestions you want to share, you can always reach out to me anytime. Second of all, I wanted to bring up a special a Paralympic sport that I wanted to bring up, especially for our students who are blind or visually impaired. Our Paralympic sport is goalball. So if any of you guys are interested in coming to one of our practices, we practice in Berkeley and on Wednesdays. So and especially if any of you guys have any questions or opinions you want to share, I'm more than happy to reach out. But especially I wanted to share especially for our blind and visually impaired students. I just want to say no matter what challenges you'll face during this school year, I just wanted to say that I'm always here to kind of like share some opinions, some advice with all of you guys. But most of importantly, I just wanted to wish all of our students, especially our special ed students, a happy and positive school year. But hopefully this year is going to be a great one this year, especially a lot of our high schools taking away screens and having more social interactions with our students. That's the best thing, because we want our students to interact with one another instead of through a screen, because we understand how difficult it is for students to interact face to face, having that interaction. But I know exactly what it all means to adapt to those new changes. But sometimes these changes can be good, sometimes it can take an effect, but we're always here to support, which is why if any of you guys have any questions or concerns regarding those ideas and suggestions, you can always reach me out anytime. So, and I'm more than happy to respond. And hopefully let's keep this school year positive and show a lot of support and happiness and positivity and a lot of empathy to all of our students in our district. Thank you so much, and happy new school year.
Thank you, Angel. Next, we have Lainey Klein King.
That is a tough act to follow. Good evening, Dr. Clark and trustees. My name is Lainey Klein King. I have served this district for years as a parent club leader, foundation board member, and program director. I stand here tonight sad and deeply disappointed to speak for dozens of Mount Diablo Elementary School parents whose trust in this leadership has been shattered. Parents who wish to speak or stand with me at this podium are watching from home because they are that fearful of retaliation by Mount Diablo Principal Sarah Harris. Those standing with me here are taking a huge risk. For 2 years, district leadership has enabled a toxic, hostile climate at Mount Diablo Elementary under Sarah Harris. When parents, including myself, raised initial concerns 2 years ago, nothing changed, except for Principal Harris openly boasting that her friendship with her boss, Aaron DeMartini, rendered her immune to consequences. The results of this inaction are devastating. 17 formal parent complaints filed this June, and 10 out of 12 executive PFC board members forced to resign due directly to Principal Harris's behavior. Parents, one of the district's most valuable resources, now feel physically intimidated and unwelcome at the Mount Diablo Elementary School campus. California Education Code and our LCAP mandate that parents be treated as empowered, respected partners. Yet when presented with clear evidence of bullying, this district chose to protect administrative power rather than hold it accountable. The legal office dismissed valid concerns with flawed technicalities, while the chief investigator, Aaron DeMartini, turned a blind eye to obvious conflicts of interest. In particular, the use of Aaron DeMartini's written accounts of parent interviews revealed obvious bias and further undermined parents' trust in the district. Parent engagement at MDE cannot recover under Principal Harris. We urge you to replace her with a leader who leads with transparency, respect, and true collaboration. At minimum, an independent third-party mediator must step in immediately to repair the damage she has caused. Parents across this entire district are watching, waiting, and expecting real accountability. Thank you.
Communications, district organizations at regular board meetings, a single spokesperson of each recognized district organization may make a brief presentation. Items are limited to those who wish to be informational. The card is coming, Lynn. Yeah. Linda Ortega.
Good evening, President Mason, trustees, Dr. Clark, members of the audience. For those who do not know me, my name is Linda Ortega, and I am the president of the Mount Diablo Education Association, or MEDIA. I represent about 1,600 bargaining units in this district. This year will be my 31st year in education. Not all with Mount Diablo, however, it was as I was preparing for this school year, I remember how excited I was when I welcomed my first class of students. It seems just like yesterday. I still have that dream that most educators have at the beginning of the school year, that I am late for class. While my students were waiting for me patiently outside my classroom, I always thought, I was going to be late, but they were all cheering for me when I was running down the hallway. Thankfully, that only happened to me once. It was a rainy day and I was stuck in traffic. Moving along, I want to take this opportunity to welcome all our new and returning educators. Each year brings new beginnings and experiences, and I wish everyone a successful year. In late July, we welcome all our new educators at the new staff orientation. I want to thank my MEDIA members who helped during this event. It takes many hands to prepare and welcome so many. I also want to thank the district staff and Christina Filios for her part in the planning of the event. I think after several years, Christina, working together, it has become easier. We have learned what works and what needs to be adjusted, and I appreciate her conversations. In regard to the first day of school, I had the pleasure of visiting some sites. This is my favorite thing. I popped into several TK classes. They're so little, they're so adorable. Seeing all the happy smiles and kiddos all ready for school was so heartwarming. From what I saw, I think the parents were more anxious than the students. While visiting sites, I also enjoy visiting classrooms and libraries. I know how much work it takes to prepare a classroom to welcome all our students. During my visits, I saw a lot of smiles, students ready to learn and enjoying their first day of school. Many students welcoming each other that they hadn't seen over the summer and just giving each other hugs and high fives. I also want to acknowledge that I had some very productive conversations with Dr. Clark and his staff. I want to thank them for their time, especially when I have a concern. The start of the school year always has a few hiccups. We know that. But I know if we work together, we can solve these problems quickly, and just today some were. Finally, as we can enter an election season, I want to encourage everyone, even those who are listening, to consider closely who you would be electing to represent our school district, our county, and our state when it comes to supporting public education. Often community members call our MEDIA office asking who our teachers support. Please consider who we endorse. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that takes us to recognitions and resolutions. 10.1, review and potential approval of resolution 26-27-02, Community Facilities District Measure A, and special tax levy report for 26-27.
Yep, and we have Adrian Vargas, who's going to present this item.
Okay, so the So what we have before you is the annual resolution to renew the Measure A or parcel tax or tax for the 26-27 school year. So the the report is included in the board item along with the resolution. So when we pass the resolution, we send that off to the county tax collector so we can initiate that process.
Madam President, I move to approve the adoption of Resolution 2627-02, approving the Community Facilities District 1 Special Tax Levy Report and apportioning the special tax for fiscal year 26-27.
I second.
We have a motion by trustee Mayo, a second by trustee Lawrence. Oh, I'm sorry.
Coming out firing.
I have all the males on this side and it all sounds the same. So I will look from now on. Okay, second by our student trustee, trustee Soto. How do you vote, trustee Soto?
Yes.
Okay. And the rest of us are voting, I think, electronically now.
I'm wondering if the family got the first yes vote on video.
We'll get it.
Okay, all right.
And that passes 5 with approval of our student trustee and takes us to the next item. 10.2, review potential approval of board resolution 26/27-4 for personal and provisional internship permits.
Yes, so Madam President, I have before the board the provisional internship permits. We're looking at 4 teachers, one from Riverview, Rio Vista, Pleasant Hill Middle, and Cambridge Elementary. Whereas the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing authorizes the issuance of a provisional internship permit, other known as a PIP, to employees who meet the minimum requirements and who require additional time to meet subject matter competence needed to enter an internship program. So with that, Madam President, I leave this resolution in the hands of the board.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. Any questions, or I'll entertain a motion?
Madam President, I move that the board approve Resolution 2627-4, the provisional internship permits.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Mayo, a second by trustee McDougall. How does our student trustee Soto vote?
Yes.
And that passes 5-0-0 with approval of our student trustee. Okay, public employees appointment.
Yes, Madam President, I have 11.1 for you, and Mr. Ryan Sheehy is going to take this item.
Thank you. Good evening. This item seeks the approval of a third amendment to the employment agreement for Adrian Vargas for the position of Chief Business Officer and places Mr. Vargas on step 3 of the classified senior management salary schedule for Chief Business Officer retroactively to July 1st, 2026 for an annual salary of $249,630. This third amendment provides the position with the same salary increase applied to all other Diablo Manager Association employees for the 26-27 school year. And with that, I leave this in the hands of the board.
Thank you. Any questions, or I'll entertain a motion?
Madam President, I'd like to bring for a vote the approval of the third amendment to the employment agreement for Adrian Vargas as Chief Business Officer for the Mount Diablo Unified School District, which will apply through June 30th, 2027.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by trustee McDougall, second by trustee Nzewi. How does our student trustee Soto vote?
Yes.
Thank you. And that passes 500 with consent of our student trustee. Takes us to reports and information. 12.1, Mount Diablo Unified School District Strategic Technology Plan Update.
Yes, Madam President, technology is one of those things that continue to change, and I just want to give a big hats off and big shout out to our technology department for getting us up and running for the beginning of the school year. I will say a few words about them during my superintendent's report, but just under the direction and leadership of Matt Rosso, there's just been some very up-to-date and innovative things happening within technology, and he keeps the board updated by doing these strategic technology plan updates every quarter, every mid-year or whatnot. So turn it over to you, Matt.
All right, thank you, Dr. Clark, board. Appreciate I'm excited to be doing this myself. This is my first year, full year of being the Director of Technology and Innovation. This should be a short one because this is an ongoing plan and it's doing really well. Basically, I wanted to go over what we've already accomplished so far. We're continuing the one-to-one program with 2nd through 12th grade. So we have devices for every student in those grade levels. We've been working with M&O to do infrastructure upgrades at 11 sites. So we've overhauled, all the cabling, the backbone networking, as well as we've replaced wireless equipment at all of our schools. So they're ready for all of these Chromebooks that we have out there. We've been increasing security. We just did some improved security measures to lock things down further to protect our data. And we're going to be continuing moving forward with that. And then through the help of our EdTech coordinator, Aaron Viejo, we've been developing AI literacy initiatives, and we're hoping to work with Ed Services and get those out to the rest of the district. Sure.
Can you back up to the one-to-one devices, the Chromebooks, right?
Correct.
What do you think of the controversy that's going on that's saying we have too much technology in front of the students?
Too much technology. Yeah, I have been hearing that as well. And I think from what I've been reading, the important part relates to what they're actually doing with the technology. Because I agree, I have kids at home and I don't like them doing like YouTube shorts constantly. But I think there's definitely value in what the technology can do for them. I would probably leave some of the developmental information probably to the Ed Services Department to give further instruction on how that should go. But we're definitely ready to support whichever way we decide to go with that. If whatever the board decides to do, we can coordinate that.
Certainly an ongoing debate, so it's something that I'm hoping you stay attuned to so that we can be following what popular opinion is on this.
Yes, we are. Some of my team's part of those groups, attending some of the meetings to hear what their concerns are and see if we can help. We're actually looking at providing parents with a way to get a view on what their students are doing, what kind of websites they're going to, as well as have the ability to restrict usage after school hours. So we're hoping that these additional tools will help, inform parents so they can see how much technology their kids are actually using at school.
Bring
and
the
whether
parents into the equation. Yeah,
Yeah.
good. Okay.
Yep.
Second point there, modernized network infrastructure at 11 of 53 campuses. Does that mean 42 campuses aren't modernized, or we're just doing the last 11 of the 53?
This is the start of the process, which is my understanding. We had Measure J funding to do work on a lot of schools. So as part of that with M&O, we coordinated with them to basically overhaul all the technology as well. So as money allows, we're trying to get the latest technology out there. The schools that haven't been upgraded are by no means, I would say, at a hindrance. They've all got wireless support. They all have Chromebooks. They're all still able to do the same thing. We've just got brand new technology and cabling to basically, as stuff gets older, it's good to refresh it out. So we've started the process with these 11 schools, and hopefully we can do more.
And that includes this center here, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay, good, thank you.
All right. The first thing that I was recommending that we change is removing the directive to try to improve Wi-Fi coverage outside of the buildings. My belief was this came as part of the pandemic and having things in parking lots. And as you had mentioned, with it coming up about too much technology, we don't see that spending the resources to extend it outside of the classroom is necessarily the right way to go. So I'm recommending we just focus on our current infrastructure inside for in the classroom.
Question?
Yeah.
If our students need to use the internet with their Chromebooks for homework, and they don't have an internet connection at home, how would they accomplish that? Because I recall that during the pandemic, we had families and students in our parking lots because there was internet connection.
I am aware of our SOAR program is doing something to provide some internet. We also have resources on our website to to help, low income find special programs to get internet. The ability to provide internet to everyone still has a lot of hurdles, as in order for us to be SIPA compliant, we have to make sure that's being filtered. So there's a lot of technical hurdles, but that is something we could look into if we need to expand that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this was merging two groups that we had that involved training for technology. Some of it was in our own department to basically make it so we weren't siloed and we had failover, and providing a way for team members to move up in the organization. So we're trying to provide training and resources for them. This one, another one that was just reworded. Basically, it has to do with we want to work closer with Ed Services, the CTE program, I would say adult education, to basically plan ahead with them for technology. I've noticed a lot of us getting pulled in right as they're ready to deploy, and we're trying to scramble around and get it together. So part of our plan is to work better together and get that all written out. Also working to just reword this section, which was to work with the rest of the departments about security so that they're more informed and can understand why we make the decisions we do, and they can be a part of it. And really, that's it.
Thank you. Any board members have any questions?
I have a comment before if there's any questions, but I'm starting my 7th year here, and so when I got here 6 years ago, we were in the middle of the pandemic, but as we were assessing our technology, every school had different devices. Um, our Wi-Fi was spotty throughout the district, and there was little resources online for our students and for our staff. And over time, we then transitioned to bringing all technology purchases in-house. And so we now have a set of specs for devices and desktops that we purchase. We implemented the Promethean boards. We went to a one-to-one model, and we also went into contract with several online platforms. All along, the need for security, not only and most importantly, security of our data, of our students' data and our staff's data has needed to increase, but also the security from hackers and from malware and from from other bad actors online. And so now we're seeing this shift where there's concern about screen time. A lot of these online platforms where they were giving the stuff away free during the pandemic, and then districts had to purchase them with one-time money. Now that money is gone, and that industry for online tutoring or online courses and things like that is all starting to fall by the wayside. So I bring this up because not only our technology department, but just our leadership within the district, we have to be nimble to be able to change with the times. And I'm just talking about a 6-year window. And if you look at all the changes that have happened in 6 years, if we're doing practices that have been around for 20 years or 10 years or 15 years, then we're way, way, way out of date. And so anyway, I want to thank Matt. Matt's been with the technology department, but in a different role for some time. So I know I've probably missed out on about 30 or 40 changes that have happened over the last 6 years, but I'm trying to just give an overall. And so things like this plan, like some of the infrastructure projects that we've done, we were providing internet in the parking lots, now that's kind of like a thing of the past now. We have yonder pouches for high schoolers. We have a no cell phone policy throughout the district. And it's just interesting how times change so quickly. So anyway, Matt, I just want to thank you for your leadership. And again, Matt and I have a direct relationship, and I'm here to support him, but also ultimately we understand that we're here to support our students and our staff in the best way to access information. So thank you. And I don't know if we have some comments
Any other
on
comment?
this.
On this topic? Okay, and we have one public comment from,
Jane Enlow.
it's the bulge that gets me every time. Come on up, Jane.
Sorry.
Just a minute, and you'll come back.
Good evening, board members, superintendent, and community watching. My name is Jane Bolsh Enlow. I'm asking again for us to take a serious look at our one-to-one Chromebook policy for students in grades 2 through 8. As a 35-year veteran teacher, I have watched technology become an important tool in education. I am not anti-technology. I am asking us to be thoughtful about when, how, and how much technology our children are using. I have personally seen students who simply cannot put their Chromebooks down. They're playing games. There's no filter for the games. They are watching YouTube videos. I can put it on Go Guardian to block it. They'll find a way around, and it's in front of them all the time. When a teacher has to physically remove a device so a child can engage in a lesson, we need to ask ourselves whether the technology is helping learning or getting in the way of it. In addition, we cannot ignore the impact on classroom management. One-to-one devices significantly increase distractions and require constant monitoring. Instead of focusing on instruction, teachers often find themselves redirecting students away from games, websites, or off-task behavior. Valuable instructional time is lost to managing screens rather than teaching content and engaging students in meaningful learning. There are also health and development concerns we can't ignore. Extended screen use can contribute to eye strain, headaches, poor posture, reduced physical activity, and disrupted sleep. There's another concern. The constant stream of notification, games, videos, and instant rewards can provide repeated dopamine hits, making it harder for some children to tolerate slower, less immediately rewarding activities like reading, writing, problem solving, and listening. I'm especially concerned about writing. Handwriting is not simply an old-fashioned tool. Writing by hand requires students to slow down, process information, organize their thoughts, and remember what they're learning. I've seen students who struggle to take notes without a device in front of them. Technology absolutely has a place in our classrooms. I do not want to get rid of them. But more technology does not automatically mean a better education. For grades 2 through 8, I think we need a balanced approach. I think we need cows in the classroom, computers on wheels, for them to be able to access that technology at any time, but they don't have it in their hands. I had so many students walking around during their 4-minute passing time playing video games instead of communicating with each other, going to the bathroom, whatever they needed to do. Our goal should not be to produce children who are experts at using a screen. Our goal is to produce curious, capable, healthy, independent thinkers. As educators and parents, we are our children, nothing less. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think we're good. I didn't look like there's any other questions. Thank you so much.
Oh, yes.
We're approving? Okay, I'll entertain a motion then.
Madam President, I move to approve the updates to the Mount Diablo Unified School District Strategic Technology Plan as presented.
Second.
We have a motion from trustee Mayo, a second by trustee McDougall. How do you vote, trustee Soto?
Yes.
Okay. And that passes 5-0 with dissent from our student trustee. Okay,
Thank you, Matt.
next. Budget.
Yes, so we have Mr. Vargas, our CBO, and he is going to give a brief budget update. Everyone's favorite topic.
Yes, my most favorite topic. All right. So today, as Dr. Clark said, I'm going to provide a budget update. As you remember, we adopted the budget close to, I think, June 24th. And as you can see, the governor signed the budget and made it enacted the budget with his signature on June 29th. So that was after the budget adoption. Couple of things to note: the state budget is fully balanced with 0 projected deficits through July of 2028. They do project some small shortfalls starting in fiscal year 28-29. We talked about the preschool shift. I think trustee Nzewi, you talked about that. So basically the state preschool programs run by non-school district providers, that funding is being put into the Prop 98 guarantee. So it expands the overall size of the Prop 98 spending obligation. Another big item, it shifts the administrative oversight of CDE away from the state superintendent to a governor appointed education commissioner starting January 1st. Also, as part of the state enacted budget, there's a settle up obligation. So I talked about that during the budget adoption process. So the state spent $3.9 billion less than what they were supposed to provide in fiscal year 25-26, as required by law. As part of the enacted budget, it will pay this money back starting in 27-28, but only if state tax revenues grow. Also, the total reserves in the rainy day fund went to 9.2 billion. So that went beyond the threshold. And so we will have to show any commitments above a 10% in our fund balance. And usually in our case, because we deficit spend, it's usually obligated to the deficit spending in the 2 out years of our multi-year. Also, it fully eliminates any deferrals. So we're not projecting any cash deferrals in the 26-27 year. And then moving on to the funding pieces of the state enacted budget, it maintained the 4.31% COLA, which is included a 1.44% super COLA, and that was put in there to support a new mandate of 14 weeks of paid pregnancy leave starting January 1st, 2027. That COLA was included as part of the adopted budget. In terms of the impact of the paid pregnancy leave, we will see that as it comes to us. Also, as part of the state enacted budget, they approved $5 billion in one-time funds for the Student Support Block Grant, but it is tied to two requirements for school districts or LEAs. We are supposed to hold public hearings on declining enrollment or school closure impacts. If we are a declining enrollment district, Mount Diablo, at least in my time here, has been growing every year. And I think the 2 years prior, before me coming on as a CBO, it has grown primarily due to the TK expansion. So I'm a little, well, I will be very interested in how that language reads, depending on how our enrollment falls out in 26, 27. We included $525 per ADA in the adopted budget, so we'll include the difference, which roughly calculates out to about $11 million additional in one-time funds that we'll include at the first interim report. Also part of the state enacted budget, they approved the base rates going to $1,340 per ADA for special education funding. We did include that in our adopted budget, so that is in the multi-year, plus $40 million in ongoing funding for extraordinary cost and low incidence disability services. Also, the remaining Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant funds were approved as part of the enacted budget. So if you remember, I believe it was 2 or 3 fiscal years ago, they gave us an allocation and they took some of it back. We got part of it last year, and now we'll get the remaining balance in 26, 27. And that was included in our adopted budget. Moving on, I just highlighted some other grants that are part of the state enacted budget. $64 million for ELOP, $1 billion for community schools grant, and those are ongoing funding. One-time funding for kitchen infrastructure and training, and then $350 million for literacy coaches and specialists. And then more dollars related to, there's some early learning grants of $250 million, $50 million for math professional learning, $116 million for homeless youth support, and then several grants related to teacher pipelines. And you can see all the breakout there. And then immigrant student support, $100 million for the California's New Americans in School program, and $75 million for high school dream resource centers. So with that, just things to consider. Most of these bullet points don't ever change when I present information, but I think right now, as we start the new school year, the biggest thing that we are monitoring is enrollment. So enrollment drives our revenue. Our budget is built on flat enrollment. So that was 29,371 students. So that is our target. And so we are monitoring that every day. And as I said, I think after the first month, we should get a really good sense of what our numbers are, and we'll reflect those updates within the first interim report. Also, the federal policy changes, I still read articles on different grants being suspended, ending, like things going to court. So we just never know what happens at that level, but we need to be ready to pivot if anything major happens. State revenues and policy changes. I put state revenues because I think about the 3.9 billion payback, and that's based off tax revenues growing. So making sure that our revenues are growing at the pace that we can get paid back the almost $4 billion that we should have gotten last year. And then policy changes, 14 weeks of paid pregnancy leave. That's just one example of things we need to monitor. And then just rising costs. And you can see those particular items are things that we've seen grow in our budgets year after year after year. I can't, I have seen some initial numbers on health benefits, and that looks relatively flat. I think it's a little under 2%. So that looks good, but I know our property and liability went up, and of course our utilities continue to rise. And then just, collective bargaining with our labor partners, just things that we do for our labor partners, and just that impact on the multi-year. And then moving on the budget calendar timeline.
Adrian, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
On that 3.9 billion that was held back from last year, what does that represent on our school district as far as how many millions would that be?
I believe school services put that at like $600 per ADA, somewhere in that range. So 600 times
29,000. Yeah.
Well, 27,000 is our ADA, but
Oh, I see.
I can say it's a large amount of money. And so I mean, they held back funds in 24-25. And so some of that 5 billion that we're seeing in the student support block grant and one-time funding, that's the partial payback from that. And so when we get paid back the 3.9 billion or whatever that amount's going to be, it may not be the full 3.9 going to the 1,100 school districts in California. It might be 2 billion, but it's going to come as one-time funds. That's how we're going to see the true up. And, hopefully we do see those dollars, but who knows what's going to happen a year from now, because it's not going to start till 27, 28.
So that had an effect on our deficit spending too.
It would. So in terms of receiving the dollars last year, we're working on year-end close right now for the 25-26 year. And I just saw that number, what we presented, we're projecting a deficit spend of somewhere like $22.5 million on unrestricted. So if we had received those funds, it definitely would have lowered that deficit spend, which does have an impact on the multi-year.
Mm-hmm.
And it has an impact on your fund balance and how that looks to support your reserves in the third year out of our multi-year. So it would have that impact. But we'll see what happens in a year from now. So as I said, we're in August and I'm doing the budget update. We're working on year-end closing. We'll come back in September. We'll present the unaudited actuals. And so that is, we close the books. Here's what the numbers are pending our independent audit. The auditors will work and go through all our financials in October, November, and issue out a report in the middle of December. As I talked about, monitoring enrollment. As we do that, we're also just looking at, on our eye and budget development for 27-28. And so that probably starts about October, November, and definitely October, because we start to work on first interim. So then we're working on first interim. We're starting to look at what the multi-year looks like. And then of course, that will drive decisions potentially into the 27-28 budget year. And then in January, we'll get the new governor's 27-28 budget proposal, and then we'll come back with the audit in January. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Trustee Lawrence, you got a question?
And I would be happy for Mr. Vargas to tell me I'm wrong, but my continuing concern is two primary concerns: the very cyclical and erratic nature of California tax revenue collections being tied so tightly to stock market, IPOs, things like that, and that when we're in these boom years that it feels good, and then that can go away very quickly. So that is the first. And then when you couple that with the ongoing underfunding for CalPERS and CalSTRS and the long-term ramifications of that, and the the tax upon districts to potentially contribute more to help close that gap. Those are the two things that concern me most. Please tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong, but you just reminded me when you said tax. You just reminded me of a tax that's going to hit school districts January 1st, which is they're going to start to tax us on our software. So, yeah, when you said, I was like, oh, that's right. We're going to start getting taxed on software beginning January 1st, which is a pretty big hit because they did not used to tax us on software because it was not a tangible item. And we just bought the product and we used the product, whether it's online or whatever it was. But so that's going to be a significant impact to our budgets as well. So I wanted to add that, and I don't disagree with you in terms of your concerns of what you brought up. But you did just remind me of the new tax. So
Any other questions?
Well, my one comment would be that we must be sure that we advocate when the legislature is working on the budget and unite with our other partners regarding budget outcomes. And, there were some of us advocated for around this $3.9 billion. And we're very active in that. But, the powers that be, here we are. And like you said, we could really use that money as many other districts throughout the state could. So hang in there and advocate.
Any other questions? And this was just for information, right?
correct.
Thank you, Adrian. Let's just start tonight. No volunteers?
Happy.
Here we
to
go. Trustee Lawrence.
Welcome back. Exciting to start a new school year. I think for many of us in this room, one of our favorite days of the year is the first day of school and getting to see the energy and excitement. I was able to go ahead and visit Ignacio Valley High School on the first day of school, and was just incredibly impressed. Dr. Clark and I were there together with how orderly it was, how engaged, how eager, but just a smooth running machine there at Ignacio Valley High School. I also visited Northgate. I was lucky enough to have a member of the crew from one of our vendors who's installing the new turf give me a tour, show me the turf. I will have a child playing on said turf in the near term. Really excited to see the progress and thanking our folks in M&O and our vendors for working to get that in as expeditiously as possible. Lots of excited families eagerly awaiting that. And then Dr. Clark and I also went to Walnut Acres where we got put to work with putting in a balloon arch and moving that around. There were some unfortunate balloon casualties. It was as we moved it from the MUR out to the archway, but just seeing students running up and hugging their teachers and telling them how excited they were for the new year and welcome back. And it was just the joy, the excitement, the energy were palpable. And so I am looking forward and wishing all of our staff and all of our students and all of our families a wonderful school year. Thank you.
You, who would like to go next? Trustee Mayo?
So I too wish everybody a welcome back. It's exciting to see all of you in this room. And I know the break was short for many of you. And I know that our students are excited to be back into a regular routine, and some families probably feel the same, not all. On July 10th, I participated in a CSBA trustee meeting with Senator Grayson. The 6 of us from throughout the county were appreciative of the opportunity to meet with him as a group and share some information from CSBA and our perspectives on upcoming legislation. On July 22nd, I was pleased to be able to attend the administration's Welcome Back Leadership event that was held at Valley View Middle School. 2 of my kids went to Valley View, so I know some of the nooks and corners in that campus, and it was great to be on the campus again. And I think that the folks were excited to be together and enjoy each other's company again. On July 23rd, our district celebrated the final graduates for the 25-26 school year. And this event was held at Concord High School, and families and friends were appreciative of the event and lingered to celebrate with their graduates. And that is what is so heartwarming, because that's what, graduation is. It's a celebration of families who've supported their students through all of the efforts. On July 25th, the Mount Diablo Adult Education program held the annual Community Resource Fair and Backpack Giveaway at the Loma Vista campus, and with more than 32 resource providers on site offering services and support to students and families. And I was able to greet and talk with most of them, and many of them are familiar faces that have supported Mount Diablo's families and students for years. The free backpacks were provided by the Sidney Page Foundation from Walnut Creek. So if you ever have an opportunity to thank that foundation, please do so, because the backpacks were amazing. They were leveled according to school level, elementary style, middle school style, and then more, high school style backpacks. Plus there were additional items that the students could select from. And then the hit was the burritos that were handed out at the end of the event. So they were great. On July 30th, Medea and Mount Diablo hosted the new teacher orientation at Northgate High School with an early breakfast. And I appreciate the fact that both Medea and Mount Diablo were working with our teachers and showing them what great opportunities Mount Diablo offers. I want to give a shout out to the PTAs and PFCs, which have been busy welcoming families and planning engagement activities for the 26-27 year. And I see a lot of that on my feed and in how PTA and PFCs help one another. As everyone is aware, I did not file as a candidate for the Area 2 board seat. Just know I will miss this work greatly. But watch out, don't count me out. Between now and December, I will still be speaking out, attending meetings, and community events until my very last day. So just remember to register to vote, research information for all candidates in every office and every ballot measure you are eligible to vote for, and most importantly, vote November 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Zary?
I can't wait to see a trustee Mayo that can speak from that microphone.
Look out.
I'm saying. You all don't know all that's held back. Welcome back. It was too short, Dr. Clark. And I had an extremely personally busy summer, but and I regret to have not been able to go to any first day of school last week because I was putting on my own conference for work on Thursday and Friday, which was amazing and beautiful. And if you go to blackecesymposium.org, I'm not going to repeat it, but if you go there, you'll see what it was about, and you'll eventually see recordings and photos and things like that. But it was amazing. And in fact, I learned a lot of relevant things for our work here. And oh, I forgot where I was going. I totally concur with Trustee Mayo on voting. We have to, as usual, vote like our lives depend on it and like our children's lives depend on it, because they do. And yeah, they do. This board depends on it. We do. And I'll just close with saying that I really look forward to being really troublesome this year. Happy school year. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee McDougall?
Wait, I'm sorry. And so welcome to our new trustee. And I forced him to like do seconds just to break the ice. I'm like, do it, do it, do it. So now you know you can just do it. Welcome. We're so excited to have you. And you rolled deep tonight, and that just makes me feel so good that you like. I know families support our children. I'm a parent myself, ride or die. So thank you to the family who came, and I'm sure. So just so you know, I'm really old, but my mom watches every one of these meetings. So I'm sure you will watch every one of these meetings, and we will try to keep them short, just because we know you're watching and you have to go to school. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
Okay. Yeah, it was a nice break. Too short. I remember thinking back in my day, that's a long time ago. I used to think August, gee, I got another month until school starts. And not anymore. We're starting on August 6th. So very short summer. 22nd of July went also with where Linda was to the leadership welcome back. A lot of excitement there to see several hundred administrators coming back and getting welcomed by Dr. Clark. On the 24th of July, the intern celebration, summer intern celebration that was held at Mount Diablo High School. And there's a lot of excitement there for all I think it was 110 interns that were celebrating the work that they could do, paid work they could do this summer. That afternoon, I had gone to the Rotary meeting at our Mount Diablo Adult Education, and I'm hoping that they decide to move to their regular meetings weekly at the MDAE because they're starting to look at what they could help repair. So we hope the Rotary does move over to the MDAE. On the 25th of July, there was this backpack giveaway, 1,000 of them, very exciting time. And so it was good to see them handing out 1,000 of them. And that same day, it was the Japanese festival in Concord. And I hope to see our former board member, Cherise Cound, playing in one of the groups. But it got so darn hot that we decided to leave before it got any hotter. On the 27th of July through August 3rd, I do a side gig where I recoat gyms. And it was getting critical because school was opening up. And so we did 4 gyms in about 5 days for Hayward Unified, Berryessa down in San Jose, and Orinda Unified, 4 gyms. Then on August 5th, back to school nights for the TK and K students at Mountain View Elementary and Ayers Elementary Schools. And it's really interesting to see the parents bringing their students for the first time. And like somebody said earlier, I think the parents were more nervous than the kids. But it was good to see that start. And on the 10th of August, just 2 days ago, we welcomed our 3rd great grandchild. And we're going, yeah, you can sigh because I hate saying that because it means I'm old, but we're going to go visit them in Portland to see this new baby. So we're excited about that. And then on the 12th of August, today, I had attended a funeral, in Rockland for a former pastor, and that was a good event as well. So I do want to end with one final point, and that is that our solar report, energy report, is now due. It was due the 30th of June. And so it should be available for us to review, hopefully soon. I noticed it wasn't listed on the agenda, so I hope it is coming on future meetings that are coming up soon. I hope we don't have to do a public records request on this. We want to see the results on that. So thank you.
Trustee Soto, would you like to say anything?
All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. I know I'm excited for school to be back. I did have a pretty busy summer. I went on a Europe tour, actually, through our district with our art teacher, Miss Brooks. She took us to Barcelona and Paris through EF Tours, which was a great opportunity. And I'm very glad that it was like that this district was a part of that. And then I did a lot of work with one of our teachers at Mount Diablo, Dr. David Pintado, through HOSA Sports Medicine. With HOSA, we did a few like informational presentations at all the way from middle schools to at DVC. So it was middle schools, high schools, colleges, just to really get the word out on what HOSA is. And then we did work with sports medicine. So I took over sports medicine halfway through summer. So now we got to get all that started and make sure our athletes are safe on the field. Other than that, thank you guys for coming to see me. Yeah. And have a good rest of the year. And yeah.
Were you in Spain when the World Cup was on? Ooh, yeah, France too. So they were all in it too.
See, I have to get back in the swing of things. And remember, I never want to follow the student report. That won't happen again. I'll make sure I call on you first. I missed a lot of the summer events because my husband and I do a teen garden corps program out in Bay Point with 5 teens from the community. So we were there 4 days a week from 8 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon. And then right after that, we go off to Tahoe with my whole family for vacation. So I missed some of the stuff, but I did miss the late graduation at Concord High School, which I always love. I love that those kids don't give up. They don't meet some arbitrary date, but they follow through and they get their diploma. And I also was able to go to the intern celebration right the day before we left over at Mount Diablo High School and see what a lot of our kids had done. And it's really funny because as I went around asking them, a lot of them had tech thing. And I'm like, that's because when they see young people coming, they want you guys to do the tech stuff for them. They're smart. They get you guys to do it. First day of school, I went to Delta View, Riverview Middle School, Shore Acres, Rio Vista, Bel Air, and Mount Diablo High School. And I'll tell you, I'm a coward. I don't go in the morning because I don't want to see the crying parents and kids. So I go at lunchtime. And what's so much fun to watch the little kids getting their lunch. But what our food service should know is I notice because when they come in, they'll have the kids, if you're brought your lunch, you go this door. If you're lining up for lunch, you go in this store. But when they saw the hamburgers come out, all those kids that brought their lunch went and got in line to get their hamburger. And then the next day, when I went to Holbrook, Sun Terrace, and Wren, when they saw the pizza come out, they all got up from their lunchbox and went and got pizza. So the kids are really enjoying the food, and staff looked happy. It was really like, I guess everybody's saying it was so short. It was like they didn't miss a beat. The kids were where they were supposed to be, doing what the teachers were there. Everything was running smoothly. I was happy. I always wear my badge when I'm at the site, but I was happy to have a couple adults stop me and say, may we help you? So they're making sure our kids are safe. But it looks like we got off to a really good start, and I look forward to hearing Dr. Clark's report.
Remind me not to follow you. So very excited to be here. I have a PowerPoint, but there's no words on the PowerPoint past the LCAP goals. And just for those of you who this might be your first board meeting, this is our LCAP. These are the goals that we follow, and this is really what we strive for as a district to actually meet these goals. And I'm not going to read them. There'll be plenty of time throughout the year for us to go over each and every one of them. But goal 1 is really centered around our students and just having high expectations for all of them and making sure that every student is in a welcoming environment. So goal number 1 is really focused on our students. Goal number 2 is focused on our staff, and pretty much that the same high expectations for staff, and that staff are culturally proficient and responsive, and they create safe and engaging environments. And then goal number 3 is for our families and community members, that they will be informed and they will be empowered. We really do want to empower our parents and community to really play an active role in their students' education. And then as we go to goal 4 and 5, goal 4 highlights groups of students that just historically in our district have not hit certain metrics and have not been successful. And so we call those students out saying that we're going to keep an extra close eye on these students and make sure that they're getting all that they need so that they have every opportunity for success. And then our last goal does the same thing with a few of our schools that also historically have not hit the mark, not for necessarily academic things, but you'll see attendance rates, you'll see graduation rates, and things to that nature. And so we really want to call them out and really challenge ourselves to make sure that we meet their needs. And then this is just sort of our visual on those goals that we follow as a district with educational equity, ensuring everyone gets what they need, everyone's prepared for college and career, learning acceleration. We want to make sure we're always teaching to the standards. The standards and proficient is the floor, and then we want our students to rise above that. And social emotional learning, making sure that the whole child is considered. So those are sort of our goals as a district. Back to school, as I was reflecting on our first day back to school, I was trying to add up the numbers of years of the first day of school, and actually, I'm 57 years old, and so this was my 57th first day of school. My dad, growing up, my dad was a teacher. I've been in daycare and preschool since forever. I don't think I was ever a stay-home kid. Both my parents worked, and then obviously my own schooling, and then when I was in college, and I've been in education. It's the only job I've had outside of out in high school and college. I had many jobs, but I've only worked in education. So this was my 57th first day of school, and was very excited for it. So our job here in Mount Diablo is to get these students, every last one of them, and they're all different. There's not a one size fits all approach with these students. They have different family experiences, different upbringings. They like different things, different birthdays, all those things. But we got to get those students here. That is what our job is. And that is what I care about. That's what I'm focused on. And that's really what motivates me each and every day. This summer, we were here the entire summer. I did attend 2 short conferences over the summer, and I took 2 days off to go with my mom to Ohio to visit her family. And the rest of the time I was here, and this place never ever really shut down. But we worked extremely hard this summer to prepare to welcome back our students and staff. And whether it was definitely, we started the summer off with maintenance and operations, because they go hard all summer. We had summer school, so they have to work around their schedules. This is just deep cleaning the classes, doing minor repairs that they can do, but then also we have projects, whether it's painting schools, whether it's repairing roofs, whether it's doing wiring, or installing fields, or things to that nature. It's nonstop. And so maintenance and operations, the technology department, it was a very busy time for them. We have thousands and thousands of employee devices out there that have to be updated, also student devices, and just lots of work that needs to happen. Food service was around most of the summer. They do summer school, and then they bring their folks in early for training. We had work being done in some of our kitchens, and so food service was constant. Obviously, our administrators, they got a couple weeks off, but cabinet level and things like that, we worked the whole summer really preparing to welcome folks back. We did a early back with some of our new certificated folks, and so that was exciting to see. I have to say that this year we actually needed to hire far less people than I can ever remember in this district, whether it was administrators or teachers or classified staff. People are staying who are working in Mount Diablo. And then with some of our new teachers coming in, usually, and especially at my age, they look like they're 20 years old or 19 or something like that. But we had myriad of folks come in with different levels of experience. People who live in our community but have commuted out to other districts have come back to work in Mount Diablo. And so I talked to several of them, and they're excited to be here. And so we did spend some time with them trying to onboard them into helping them get past any jitters of being in a new place, but also just really keeping the focus on our students. And then, of course, the big welcome back over at Northgate. Northgate did a great job in welcoming us to their site. A lot of work goes into hosting, a few hundred people and all district folks and all Union, Medea, and Mudspa coming together and welcoming our new certificated staff. So that went on. Then we had the first day of school, which is, which like, I mean, like these little ones right here, like this is what it's about, right? I mean, like how can you not get excited for these students? And that little student on the left, I was looking at other pictures. She got herself in a whole bunch of pictures, and I definitely know why. Like she is just like, I mean, and again, this is the first, this is the first day of school, and yeah, and these kids, I don't think these 4 kids were crying, but we had lots of criers. We had lots of criers on the first day, and we had lots of crying parents, and TK parents, kindergarten parents, 6th grade parents, 9th grade parents are very emotional during this time, and it's to be expected. This is a process, but I will say that the opening of school was extremely smooth. Again, I said before, I'm starting my 7th year, and there's a high level of clarity and stability in the district. We know what we're doing. We know what we're focusing on. Every one of our employees is focusing on those LCAP goals. We are a district that our number one priority is that of our students. And so, as I said before, our students come in all different, at all different stages of life and experiences, and we don't pick and choose who walk into our classrooms, but we have to be ready to receive that. And as I said earlier, our students today, these 4 students are different than the 4 kindergarten students that showed up 10, 20 years ago. They have different access to information. Their experience is different. When I was that age, I didn't come home all day on the weekends. I was out riding bikes. I was out playing in the neighborhoods. I was out at parks. I was riding across the city. And I guarantee you that these 4 students were not doing those same things. Well, that's a different level. And so we often think, oh, these students today, yeah, these students today, they're different than when we were kids. They're different than when we maybe first got into this profession. But I'm proud the way that, because we have so much clarity and stability, that we're able to obtain information. Our busiest person right now, and she's looking very calm right now, is Aurelia Busameche and Busimi. And she is over our enrollment center, and that place is go nonstop. I mean, there are people that are coming in and registering their kids, and there's like tears when they're registering kids. And she has a team over there that is so warm and so proficient in their work. They're not wasting time. They're not sending people on wild goose chases. They know that these folks have a certain amount of time to get their kid registered, and it's the most important thing that they're doing at that particular time. And so, Aurelia Busheme, I thank you and your team for all of that. And we have dozens of folks like Aurelia throughout the district who are doing great things. All of the teachers going into teachers' classrooms and seeing how they were just set up and seeing the care. We had I mean, this is probably over the top, but like pencil boxes with labels on it and all these different things. It's just really exciting. But it's not only about these little kids. Here's Mount Diablo High School, and this is the class of 2030. And I know Trustee McDougal is feeling old over there with his great grandkids, but like 2030, that's, I graduated in 1986, and like now I don't even want to tell these kids like 86. It's kind of like when I was, when people were like, oh, I graduated in the 40s. That's how I feel now. So, but
Because that's like the same. I was 40.
I know exactly. But here we have, all these freshmen. I'm assuming it's more than just freshmen because that's a lot of kids. But if that is a lot of kids, Adrian, you see all these kids on here? Are we going to hit that number of 29,000? So no, I should ask Aurelia. She should know. But lots of kids, and just very exciting. And this is almost a very similar scene that Trustee Lawrence and I saw when we were at YV. And I know at all of our high schools are doing similar things. But
Dr. Clark, I want to point out the shiny gym floor.
is that right? Yeah,
That's
yeah.
beautifully done.
Yes, the gym floors after summer are very good, and Trustee McDougal knows they when they redo the gym floors, they actually like remove the locks because so many people have keys to gyms that they just don't want to trust anybody going in that gym and messing up that new floor. But but just the high level of clarity and stability in the district with our budget, with our academic programs. We have all new curriculum over the last 4 or 5 years. We're in our second year of our math adoption, and we're just really doing everything to make sure that our academics of our students, every last one of our students, that they have the support to be able to reach whatever goal it is that their family has set for them and the goals that we have set for ourselves. And so the focus this year, in case anyone needs to know, it's ELA, math, chronic absenteeism, and suspensions. We want our kids in school each and every day so that they can learn not only the stuff they learn in books, but they learn from their peers, their colleagues. They learn from the adults who are being paid to mentor them and take care of them and keep them safe. And so we want our students at school each and every day. Now, if you thought I butchered Aurelia's name, I want to also just pay homage to our AXA Region 6 president, Christina Filios Yanakopoulos. I spelled it out. So not only does Ms. Filios do a lot of things around the district, she also leads at the region level, which is pretty much the entire Bay Area, and we have one of the strongest regions in the state. And so I do want to recognize that work. And then just in closing, just excited to get to work with this board, roll our sleeves up, and continue to hit the goals that we've set, and continue to serve our 29,383 students, and making sure that they have every opportunity to be college and career ready when they leave. And let's see if I just have any more pictures. So we have kindergarten, that's elementary school, we have high school, and isn't this like so middle school? That's over at Sequoia, and what a beautiful campus. I mean, that's actually where kids go and learn. And I know it's just chalk there, and so that's nice for the middle schoolers. And then this is Pleasant Hill. This is Pleasant Hill Middle, and just as someone who was a middle school vice principal and middle school principal, the energy on the middle school campus is like no other. The hats off to everyone in middle school, and then lastly, one of the programs that I'm just so proud of. This is our College Now program, and so those are our juniors and seniors who have chosen to finish out their high school career on a college campus over at DVC, and then they have to go through an orientation as well. So that concludes my report. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer, but just ready to get this year going. Yep.
There's one picture you like totally, we sat on it for a while, but you never said what it was. And it's like my favorite one.
Should I go back?
The graduates.
Oh, the graduates. This one?
Yeah.
This is the College Now graduation. And the reason why this picture is so special is because it's just representative of all our schools. And the College Now program, we're not looking for students who who basically have it all figured out and are on that path. We're looking for students who want a different opportunity, want a different experience, who want to go and explore and think, maybe, is college for me? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but let me go try it out. Or at their high school, the cliques and the things that go on at high school, maybe that's just not for them. And so the College Now program just allows them to really develop, to mature on a college campus with adults and to learn, but also to support one another. And if you see these students, they're such a tight knit group, and we're just very, very excited for them. So
It was such a large group this year.
yes, every year it
Growing.
continues to grow, and so anyway, I'm not recruiting for college now, but if we have incoming juniors and seniors who want a different experience, I would highly recommend the College Now program. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Takes us to the consent agenda. Any comments or anything that wants to be pulled? Now is your time.
I think we could probably avoid pulling it, but I was hoping that the superintendent or general counsel or a designee could share with the public information around item 15.4 and just what the Williams report entails and just for public information around that.
Thank you.
So I'm going to have Samantha Allen and Christina.
Okay.
I won't do that to you. Okay. Billy else. Okay. I was trying. Culturally proficient. All right.
So thank you for the question, Trustee Lawrence. And it's really important that everybody understand what it is we do. We have some Williams activity going on right now at our schools over the next couple weeks, but Williams itself is a landmark Superior Court case that was decided in 2004. And it basically requires that all of our schools have all students have equal access to instructional material, safe schools, and highly qualified certificated teachers that are in the appropriate courses. And so this takes a village. So Christina and I have different roles in this process throughout the year. What you see on our report tonight is our quarterly report, which is run through the Ed Services Office, but with the help of HR and with the help of Melanie over in our Maintenance and Operations Department. And so the Williams quarterly report, what you'll see is responses to UCP, our Universal Complaint Procedures. And those come out in those reports that you'll see quarterly on our on your agenda. And we respond to those. You'll see corrective action notices on there from Melanie. But I asked Christina, our president of AXA, to come up here today to talk a little bit about what's going on this next couple of weeks with our Williams audit and the county.
So some of our schools, the past 2 years, 24 of our schools are selected based on dashboard data actually for specific Williams visits. So they receive 2 visits during the first 8 weeks of school. 25% of the visits are unannounced, meaning we do not know when the visitors will come. And the visits happen around facilities, so the safe facilities, and around the instructional materials sufficiency. And so we report to the county, and then the county comes for 24 of our schools this year to check essentially in person that those items are in place. And then as Sam said, each quarter we also make a report if we've received any complaints that we've investigated in any of the 3 areas. And we also then send this board approved report to the county each quarter.
Question. I have one question. Is Mount Diablo Unified School District the only school district in the county or state that's required to participate in the Williams Act?
No, every school in California. So we like to say every school is a Williams school, and then we have 24 special visit Williams schools.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam President, I move that the board accept item 15.1, the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Ty, Ty's going to go to, I think McDougal said, oh, I gotta get it. Okay, well, motion by Trustee Lawrence, second by Trustee Soto. Trustee Soto, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you.
having to rejoin the meeting apparently.
And that passes 5-0 with consent of our student trustee. Okay, that takes us to business and action items, 18.1.
Yes, Madam President, this is just an action item, but on here you have the salary schedules for all of our units. And as we were reviewing these, we're settled with all of our units. And so you can see all of our updated salary schedules. And I would say that the salary schedules are appropriate. I think that they're, I want to thank this board for their support, but I think that it shows that we are doing the best we can with our resources, and I think we're doing pretty good with that. And all of our salaries are in line. We try to strive. We would love to be the very, very top, but we want to be above the middle and do the best we can by our employees. And I think that this is reflective of that.
Thank you. Any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the salary schedules as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Nzewi, a second by trustee Mayo. Trustee Soto, how do you vote?
Yes.
You. And that passes 5-0 with assent from our student. 18.2, review potential approval of social emotional program for grades TK through 5.
Yes, and I just wanted to touch on this as Ms. Filios is making her way up. We used to, and we still do this, is that our in-house counselors sort of built our SEL program during the pandemic, and so we've sort of built on that, and so we wanted to get something that was a little bit more standard so that we could measure the needs of our students and where our students were as it relates to social emotional learning, social emotional development. So we've been going through this process, I believe, over a year of piloting different platforms, having opportunities for parents to come and look at the materials, testing it out with some of our teachers, interviewing the companies. So it's been a lot of work that has gone into this. So with that, I will turn it over to Ms. Filios.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. Good evening, board trustees, and special welcome to our newest trustee, Trustee Soto. We look forward to working with you on Student Advisory Committee. I'm Christina Filios Yanakopoulos. Thank you, Dr. Clark. And this evening, I will be presenting the program selection process for the Social Emotional Learning Program for grades TK5 and asking for your review and approval of the program. Well, Dr. Clark really has summarized it so well. You did. No, you did a wonderful job. Thank you. As Dr. Clark presented before, these are our 5 LCAP goals. And in particular, social emotional learning and an LCL program are really clearly and directly connected to the goals, especially goals 1 and 2. And I've highlighted some parts of each goal that really show that connection. So for in goal 1, that students will experience a safe and welcoming environment. And in goal 2, that our staff will create a safe and engaging learning environment, respectful of all students' backgrounds. So as part of the presentation, just a really brief history of social emotional learning in the state and also here in the district. I think we may think of social emotional learning as something that was only looked at during and after the pandemic, but in reality, our state and our district have been involved in this work at least since the late 1990s. And again, if we're really looking at the whole child, that's been a part of education for a very long time. But back in 1997, the Safe and Drug-Free Schools funding was implemented. And in 2001, the California Healthy Kids Survey, which our students still take, was expanded to include data on social emotional indicators in school climate. that's 25 years ago. And then with the pandemic and our return to in-person instruction really required an intensified focus on social emotional learning and student wellness. I would say also in adult wellness, I think, as we saw. And as Dr. Clark shared, in 2021, we had a multidisciplinary team here in Mount Diablo that helped to create what I'll call homegrown but CASEL-based SEL activities, which were used in our classrooms. They were helped to create community and help students, excuse me, with their social emotional learning. And tonight, what we're looking to do is build upon that foundation with a research-based coherent program that our teachers and staff can use for social emotional learning in elementary classrooms. And so this is a list of all of the staff who were involved in this program selection process, and we would like to thank all of the staff members who participated. The team included elementary school teachers, counselors, the MDUSD SEL committee, and our facilitators, Pedro Arroyo, program specialist for counseling and restorative practices, and Celeste Grable Kitts, the assistant director of MTSS, multi-tiered systems of support. Participation was voluntary and open to all elementary teachers and counselors who wanted to participate. And these were the elementary sites who were involved in the piloting and selection process. So teachers and counselors from these sites piloted materials with students and in their classrooms. And these schools represent our various feeder patterns and diverse school programs and communities. So these next few slides outline the steps that were followed in the selection process. The 4 programs that were sort of reviewed first were based in being CASEL aligned, so California Social Emotional Learning, and the district team, the district committee was formed in the fall. And then in December, the publishers or programs presented to the selection committee, and teachers and counselors worked at looking at the 4 programs and then kind of narrowing down to 2 that would be piloted in classrooms. And so the 2 programs that were identified to pilot were School Beat and Second Step. And in December, teachers and counselors were trained in School Beat. And then in January, February, they began the 5-week pilot and then were trained in Second Step and then continued a 5-week pilot with Second Step in March, April, which is also around the time of our community review of the programs. The people involved in the committee did a side-by-side comparison and then voted to make a recommendation for approval to the board. And then here we are in August asking for approval. These were the 4 criteria that the committee used for program selection. So comprehensive SEL competency development, again, aligned to CASEL competencies, equity, inclusion, and cultural responsiveness, instructional excellence and engagement, and assessment and continuous improvement. And then this slide shows the numbers of years of experience of the committee members in the first pie chart. So you can see there's a wide range of experience, but the largest group had 20+ years of experience. And then the second pie graph shows the product recommendation based on the selection by the committee. And in red is Second Step, which is the program we are recommending tonight. And then the next slide shares the committee's rationale in choosing Second Step as the recommended program, organized by the 4 criteria areas that I previously shared. We also included a link to the scope and sequence for Second Step. If you look at it, you can see how it builds from year to year in very similar competency areas, but in a developmentally appropriate way. And then tonight we are requesting the board's approval of the program. And if it's approved tonight, we will bring back the purchase of the program to the August 26th meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yes, I have a comment. I went to that March, April evaluation process, which you had over at the, remind me where it was?
Willow Creek Center.
Little Creek Center, thank you. And I went a couple of sessions to look at this material because it's quite elaborate. And I'm not sure I even got to the bottom of it, but I do object somewhat. I think the program has noble goals. Definitely, since 2001, I was the first time it seems to be being considered. But I feel that it's overreached. I feel that it's usurping parental authority in many cases. And I think it's weakening the parents' control of the students because we incorporate this SEL into our school curriculums. And I want to be careful about saying that because there's some very good parts of this, but I also think we overreach on and usurp parental authority. Secondly, maybe it's from the Healthy Kids California legislation that's been around for a while, but there are surveys and material that are not age appropriate for fourth grade and lower kindergarten. I've seen some of those surveys, and I don't believe that they are appropriate to some of the, well, to any of the kids at that age. And so that was the second objection I had to what's being asked of the kids on those surveys. So I'm going to vote against it. Sorry.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I'm curious as I look through what is objectionable, what is an example of the overreach? I'm looking at the topics that are covered. It is really cool. It's building really good human beings. And I can't find what would be overreaching my authority as a parent. Do you have an example?
Not specifically on the overreach. But I do know that on the surveys, they were asking kids, they gave them a choice on one survey of which of these sexual categories they felt a part of. And they gave 7 choices. The last 2 were male, female, and the others were non-binary or whatever else categories they had. I don't think that's age appropriate for fourth grade or younger. And on the usurping of the parent's authority, I feel that this is a training where much of this instruction should be depending on the parents doing it at home. I don't think that the schools need to step in on some of these areas to do it.
I just think it's a common talking point that social emotional learning instruction is an overstep for parents. And but I've never heard specifically what that overstep is. It covers empathy, dealing with big feelings, why you should listen. I think it's all things that help.
There are many noble points of
Yeah.
the program.
I heard that. I was hoping that we could get a real example because it's a talking point I've heard a lot over, especially since 2020, but I've never heard exactly what power is being taken away from me as a parent. So I hope that in the future that you come ready with like
I will endeavor to do that.
Examples so then we can better understand your vantage point.
Any other comments?
I have a question for Ms. Filios. The survey that was referred to, is that in our California Healthy Kids or is that in this?
Believe so. The California Healthy Kids survey that was referred to on the timeline is the California Healthy Kids survey, not a survey that is.
But it's not
connected
part
to
of our
this. Yes,
curriculum.
correct. Not part of this program.
Right. I mean, okay. So I just wanted to, I just.
So this vote would have no impact on that because
No.
that's required.
California, in the California Healthy Kids survey, we give that to our 5th graders, we give that to our 7th graders, we give it to our 9th graders and our 11th graders.
Correct.
So But I don't want to mix the two. And again, you guys vote on what you wish to vote on, but for parents who are watching, I just want to be clear with the parents that the curriculum that we're proposing is not asking them gender or how they identify and things like that. And again, I'm a huge proponent of social emotional learning. You know, when one of our goals is to reduce suspensions, and the majority of our suspensions are with conflict between students. And we know from the research, and I'm a doctor, not a medical doctor, but I'm an educational doctor. Punitive doesn't work with students. And so as we're trying to reduce suspensions because of interactions that students are having, we need some common language. We need common actions about how we deal with disagreements. When I showed those pictures of those kindergartners, they're all different. And some people may come from a home that believes in, like, hey, if there's a toy and somebody wants to play with it, you let them play with it, or you share all your stuff with people. And some people may be raised where we don't share anything. And so then when our students have conflicts, even at young ages, and I know you know, we've heard stories of discipline with kindergartners and first graders and second graders. How can we better our student experiences without these punitive measures, but more of teaching them how to share, how to deal with your emotions? You know, I get really upset about these things, and these are 3 things I can do when I'm upset. So I just didn't want anyone to confuse the two of what we're actually asking. And,
Yes, thank you for that clarification, Dr.
okay.
Clark.
Because so I'm hoping this is going to reduce our suspensions.
I'm hoping it's going to decrease our chronic absenteeism as well, right?
Yeah, chronic
Connected.
absenteeism, suspensions,
We're safe.
self-harm, young people suicide, things like that. So thank you for that clarification.
Okay.
Go. I do think it is important for our school district to help our students understand things around tolerance, that some of our students may be exposed for the first time to classmates who have 2 moms or 2 dads, and to talk about the real world implications of that, and not to be afraid of that. That is not a communist woke plot to undermine the nuclear family, but rather that is the reality of the world that we live in. And I think it is completely appropriate for a school district to support this. We've also heard that, that these types of programs are teaching children to be ashamed of being white and things like that. And so I think there is a real lack of education as to what is actually in these programs and what is entailed. And I would support my colleague in saying that if there are things that are inappropriate and there are specific examples, I think we'd be very interested to understand that. But I think when you look at the thoughtful manner with which this was put together, reviewed comprehensively with a large cross section of highly skilled people and community members, it's a testament to the thoroughness with which we did this, and I appreciate the efforts. Thank you.
Okay, I just have 2 comments, and then I'll see if there's a motion to be made. As someone who worked in the school for over 20 years, a suspension is a gift to a kid who isn't behaved. They want to not be in school. So I never understood how that was going to be helpful. As a parent who raised 2 brilliant kids, of course, because they were raised to be challenged. I want people to challenge what I'm teaching my kids. If they really don't believe it, that's fine. But I don't know if I'm being a good parent unless they're being challenged and they come home and talk to me about it. So I think the social emotional learning supports both of those. And I hope we'll see a motion moving forward here. So if anybody's inclined to make a motion.
I move to approve the social emotional learning program for grades TK to 5.
Second.
We have a motion by trustee Nzewi, have a second by trustee Lawrence. Trustee Soto, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. And that passes 4-1-0 with consent from our student trustee. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now we're on,
Clearly the boring part of the agenda.
well, view and potential approval of the wellness policy.
People can't see what I'm talking about. Everybody leaves.
Yes, so our 18.3, Ms. Emmett, are you doing a presentation? Okay, but you're happy to answer any questions. So this is just an update on our revision of our student wellness policy, and so we have Ms. Emmett here who is leading that charge. And if you have any questions, she'd be happy to answer. But if not, we're seeking potential approval.
I just had one comment. And don't take it wrong, because I love gardening more than anyone else, and I started the 2-acre garden at Riverview. But I just questioned where we said prioritized garden. Would it be better to say encourage or support it rather than prioritize it? Just a thought.
The Wellness Council, as you know, is a multi-stakeholder group. And so, while I have a lot of expertise in the nutrition side of things, I would have to bring it back to the council for that feedback. Thank you.
Right. Thank you for answering my question. Now I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the revision of the board policy 5030, student wellness as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by trustee Mayo, a second by trustee Nzewi. Trustee Soto, how do you vote?
Yes.
And that passes 5-0-0 with consent from our student trustee. Okay. Next one is an action item. Review and potential approval of annual evaluation of outdated documents to be destroyed.
A4.
Oh, did I skip one? Trying to get home early here. Okay. Next one is review and potential approval of revisions to board policy, right? 8.4, is that the one we're on? Yeah. Administrative Regulation 1330, use of school facilities, and we have a public speaker, Tatiana Leskowicka.
It's been a while.
You're challenging me here tonight.
Hello. I sent an email earlier today regarding the disconnect between the automatic tournament exception that sets multi-team events to tier 4 rate, which is the highest full recovery rate, and Ed Code section 38134E, which is hopefully being passed around, that is cited by the policy as the authority for it. But that Ed Code states that the rate is set at full recovery only if proceeds are not expended for the welfare of the students or for charitable purposes. That is something that is missing from your policy as proposed. Now, initially, I believe the proposed policy was against the intent of the Civic Center Act, which, according to the state, did not envision user fees for nonprofit organizations that utilize the school facilities and grounds to promote youth and school facilities. Now, upon closer inspection, I believe the policy violates the law as written. For example, a PTA basketball shootout that serves as a fundraiser for the outdoor ed field trip that we all love would be limited by law to tier 3 rate. But your policy, because it is a shootout, would automatically set it to a tier 4 rate, regardless of the purpose of it. Now, on the other hand, if your business club, because we know business clubs are fun, if they were to have a Taylor Swift for-profit concert in the MU, as a school club, they would get a tier 1 rate, free. But the law says that because they have a for-profit purpose, they shall be charged fair market value. So you have a disconnect and a violation. And I ask you to postpone, revisit this, make sure that it fits both in spirit and in law. And I'm here as a swim parent. I don't know how many of you are swim parents, but swim community is not a community, it's a way of life. It's the kids are there all summer, especially in recreational. They're there all summer. They're there every Saturday and Wednesday for a 4-hour swim meet where they have 3 minutes of swim. But during those 3 to 4 hours, they interact with the children of all the ages. They are bored out of their minds. They make up games. There are no cell phones. It's childhood as we envisioned. It's childhood that you envision for your children when you ban cell phones in schools. It is wholesome. We have children that start yay high and are helped by our 18-year-old swimmer coaches. And then they grow. And eventually you see your baby that was held by that 18-year-old become an 18-year-old holding the next baby. It is responsibility they're taught. It is perseverance they're taught. But our funding is limited, right? Because it is an expensive sport and we do as much as we can on a shoestring budget. It's all volunteer run except for the coaches, which for their safety, we need qualified personnel. And that costs money, pools cost money. And our biggest fundraisers are multi-team invitationals, the thing you want to set to tier 4. They're a fun event. The kids get to see the excitement. They see the big pool. It's almost Olympic size. And they get to compete against 1,000 other swimmers. And they get to get county time. I don't know how many of you swim, but county time is the thing you work for. My kid worked for 10 years for it. Like the happiest moment I've never seen as when she made county at the Northgate pool this year.
I'm
And
sorry that I forgot to start the timer, but I've just been watching the clock, at which point I started, so I would wrap up.
okay,
Yeah.
so I would ask you to revisit the policy, to consider the spirit of the act that nonprofit entities organizing for the kids' sports, even if they exceed $60, which by the way, soccer does now, should be given tier 3 so that we can continue as a community, help our kids, and provide you with qualified staff to run your swim meets at your high schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
Any questions?
I would make a comment as a longtime CYO basketball coach and athletic director, which has for many years utilized Oak Grove and have similar beliefs that, I think that our school facilities are a public resource paid for by taxpayers. And I think that when we're able to partner with nonprofits for us to do as much as possible and, having tried to balance a budget for understanding for nonprofits how tight it is to balance budgets, and I think there are many win-wins when we are able to open up our facilities at the most reasonable cost, and so that would be my hope as we review this, to be as expansive as possible in welcoming community nonprofits and being very generous in how we interpret things.
I would just ask that staff review the points that were presented and get back to us. Thank you.
Yes, we have some swim experts in cabinet, and so the swim community is well represented. So we will speak to them about this.
Great. All right, that takes us to the review and potential approval of the annual evaluation of outdated documents to be destroyed.
Just want to say how happy this makes me to see.
I know you love to see destroying.
I
documents,
like
don't you?
seeing the destruction, but I also question the need for printing many of these documents to begin with. But I would some of them, but not that old, and it's things like some of them are within the last few years. But I appreciate that we're I still see us moving as much as possible towards a paperless
You want to make a
environment,
motion?
and I will make a motion for the approval of the annual evaluation of outdated documents to be destroyed.
if you have a couple hours.
If I'm invited,
Laura
that's how
would
I
be glad to
understood,
take you
yes.
through the Butler building.
Okay.
to, over there.
You can watch.
Yeah, we're very.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Lawrence, a second by trustee Nzewi. Trustee Soto, how do you vote?
I have a
Yes.
question.
Oh,
Does this only apply to printed documents or does it also apply to electronic documents?
and once they're gone, we can always find them at your house,
Doesn't say
trustee
printed.
Mayo. Did you hear me, trustee Mayo? I said, once they're gone, we can always find them at your house.
A binder.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Trustee Soto,
Yes.
thank you. And that passes 500 with support from our student board member. Okay, review and potential approval of changes to board policies. This is information and administrative regulations for California School Board Association recommendations for November 2025 quarterly update. 18.7, review and potential approval of changes to board policies and administrative regulations for California School Board Association recommendation for February 2026. That's for information. And review and potential approval of changes to board policies and administrative regulations for California School Board Association recommendations for May. That's also info. And I think on that note, unless there's an objection, we are adjourned. Thank you and welcome back.